And
Collectively transforming community, peace in our human family, volume of unity, divine light shining individually, collectively transforming community, peace in our human family.
one love, one growth, as above, so below. Feel the pain in my soul, the red pill dissolved. Organized, no matter the cost. Politicians start wars, they don't fight, they send the poor. And nothing lasts forever as long as we stay together. Give hell to the masses, watch the unity rapture. This is for the kids and the culture. It's one love, one growth, one light, light warriors. What's up, everybody? My name is Jamar Jabari, and once again, you are tuning into the Jabari podcast. Everybody that's listening in, I'm gonna repeat throughout the podcast, but if you have any comments, definitely leave any questions, anything you have in the comment link. We're gonna talk about a few different topics, and I'm here with my comrade, a comrade that I just met. That's from the PSL, as I am also a member of the PSL in Connecticut, and he's a part of the PSL in New Jersey. His name is Comrade Perez. Just give yourself a quick introduction so anybody that want to know more information about you. And I met him on IG. He has a great IG page, very knowledgeable. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Comrade, for inviting me to your show.
Thank you.
My name is Comrade Perez. On Instagram, I'm the socialist accountant. I'm a former power of the PSL branch in New Jersey. I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. Right now, I'm living in New Jersey.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out on this Monday to talk to me and rap about some things that's going on in the world. And one thing I want to talk about real quick is like one thing in the PSL that we always talk about Victory Day, and yesterday was Victory Day, and Victory and there's a lot of which is why we talk about it all the time. You know what I mean? America had a better and getting ready after.
Your audio is cutting off a little bit, Comrade.
Oh,
Yeah, now it's better. We get closer to the mic, I think. Yeah.
oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you perfect now.
Okay. So I was saying that the misconception, sadly, is that we're taught here that Americans help stop the Nazis, and they just keep like ignoring the fact that the USSR had a huge role in it, which is why they celebrate Victory Day today.
Yeah, that's why. Still repping. Yeah, it's all we all form. I mean, from school, as you start learning more, the indoctrination starts, and it starts so early as it with cartoons, right? So with cartoons, they indoctrinate us that the Americans always are to save the world. The Americans are always the good guy, and if the Americans are somehow the bad guy, it's just one or two. But at the end of the day, the indoctrination is that U.S. Is always the good guy, and if the problem is that they try to infuse it with historical amnesia. So, meaning that whatever happened yesterday is forgotten, is rewritten, and is easily manipulated with subtle messages from what they write on our textbooks, what they show us in movies, what they show us in cartoons, and whatever you consume to even entertain yourself, or video games, or everything. If it wasn't for the Soviet Union, who knows where we would be right now, because Germany learned what they learned was from the U.S. They learned it, their terror, their methods. They learn it from things that were done in slavery.
And this is documented. Hitler talks about this. The Nazis talk about the influence of the Confederacy, of how they added that into their doctrine.
Yeah, that's right. It's crazy to the Soviet Union lost 20 million comrades fighting against Germany.
Yeah,
and somehow the manipulation has been so big that a lot of people think that if it wasn't for the U.S., they were never won. The U.S. only came at the end,
Yeah, after we got bombed.
And Stalin was asking, the president to open another front, and he only did it so at the end. And most of the scientists that that were in Nazi Germany, they immigrated and to the U.S. and they became great scientists here in the U.S. And they continue their works. If it wasn't for the Soviet Union, God knows what would have happened with Latin America, what would have happened with Africa, with Asia, because they was bound to spread that white supremacy to the fullest.
Right. And now we see that now, after the Soviet Union unfortunately fell in the late 90s because of a coup. So the question I pose and want to have people talk about is this ideology of white supremacy, of neo-Nazism, is it still prevalent today, and where should we focus to understand where it's at so we can build awareness to snuff it out? Because you need to snuff this out. You cannot have neo-Nazis walking around building government and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that just like you can't you can't kill the ideas of fraternity and solidarity and socialism. It's been hard to kill the idea of white supremacists. You can see that in Latin America, we try to move the tides towards the left, towards communism, towards socialism, and at the same time, the reason why it's going is because we're trying to get away from neoliberalism. But in some way, the right is trying to get away with neoliberalism, but they fight that with individualism and in a sense with white supremacy. So we're seeing that what's happening in Spain right now. We see that what's happening in the UK. We see that what's happening in Europe right now. So the system, the capitalist system is in decline right now. So you can either do two things. You either say I save myself, or you say we have to build something better with solidarity. So let's all come together. So it's those two mindsets between the individual. It's all about me and all about solidarity. And it looks like because culturally, people from Asia are more family oriented. People from Latin America are more family oriented. People from Africa are more family oriented, and grow up tight knit, help each other out. And those people from those countries are more prone or lean towards more a socialist. But then the ruling class comes in, and it's the same scenario, and they do it over and over again. This is documented. This is proven. This is CIA whistleblowers, and it looks like the people that look into this are the Marxists, the Leninists, the communists that read history and see the patterns that in the 70s, the 80s, and for quite a while that they do, they stabilize us, and they don't let us come about.
Right. And that's a big deal to note that they do that because they know what's going to happen if they allow working class movements to grow because it just snuffs out the oligarchs every time, and it snuffs out that late stage capitalism, that growth of sustaining capitalism, um, and it gives more power to the working class. Like we see Venezuela and the situation that's happening there, compare and contrast to the situation of what's going on in Colombia. We're saying that, look, like you were talking about, which is actually facts, that the CIA has hands and ties. I mean, freaking Juan Guaido just came out of nowhere. It was like, "Hey guys, I'm the president of Venezuela." After he started talking to his CIA friends, and now you look over in Colombia, and you see people online saying, "Oh, it's the Chavistas that are causing things in Colombia."
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, they want to put us as just to link the Soviet Union. You know, if you see the movie, what's the movie with Rocky Balboa when he's fighting the comrade?
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah,
yo, that dude said if he dies,
yeah,
he dies.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
right.
So they put us as they has always put communists as kind of like boogie monsters more than monsters, like Jason and Freddy up there. Like you're so like example, Jason, right? He's a monster. A lot of people will try to kill him, but they can't kill him,
Mhm.
right? So they put communists just kind of the same thing. Like you can't really kill a communist. So in order to who can kill communists? An American CIA, or an American Marine, an American Army. That's the only one that can kill a communist. And it's okay because these people are monsters. They always put us as monsters, and they do that. Then if you play the video games, who are the bad guys? Like the Russians. So if you see the movies, who was always the bad guys? The
Russians, either
you
the
know
Russians or the blacks, the Latinos.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That always the bad guy. You rarely see like a movie like I think you're into comics as well, but
Yeah.
I couldn't understand when I was like 9 years old why my favorite X-Men was actually Bishop, and it was because he was like the only minority. I mean, you had Storm there, and
Hmm.
you know everyone else is there. You had Colossus, comic
Hmm.
Colossus, but yeah, they don't really make movies or depict us as as the heroes. Like you see that in cartoons, you see that in movies. Like this this African American or um, this Asian brother or sister as like the hero. You don't really see that, and I don't think that Americans know the impact that they have, meaning working class, because of course Hollywood knows the impact that they have, and the CIA knows the impact that they have, but they kind of control the media in other countries as well. They own
Yeah.
all the cable stations indirectly, not directly. They own it indirectly,
Yeah.
the through shell companies, through either through stocks, through many different ways. But and then the propaganda starts, even in a country that doesn't speak English, because everything is translated. All those shows that we watch here, other people watching as well in other countries. So the propaganda, it's everything you name it. It's being translated, and it's the American way of life.
Yeah. And you basically start seeing like a pattern, um where it's like whenever they're talking about a country that it's brown or black, they like to majority of time bring in white passing uh quote unquote citizens of that country, to enforce their interests. You would never see them go on the streets and talk to a Chavista, for instance, go into a community where there are Chavistas and ask them, hey, what do you think about what's going on in Venezuela? Because they will tell them straight up, oh, how about you stop with the U.S. involvement with sanctions and stealing our oil with Citgo? How about you stop that? They will tell them straight up.
Yeah.
You won't
They don't
hear
want to
that.
hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that.
And that's the example I give people all the time. Like, why are they all white passing that say that they are pro um, regime change, for instance, in Venezuela? Why are they all white passing? Why don't they go to brown people or black people in Venezuela?
Oh, you have to, due to slavery, that's who. This is not from now. This is not. Has evolved.
Right.
So who are the masters? It's the great grandfather. You sometimes you guys are the white settlers from here and from over here. They're connected, and that wealth gets passed on generation to generation. So if you look at countries like Dominica or even Haiti, or any other African descent countries, sometimes the president is white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is white. It's like a 97% black country, and then who's the ruling class? They're all light skinned.
Right. Like South Africa just started getting black presidents.
Yeah.
Just started.
And then the indoctrination of self-hate and self-mistrust, because the reason that's why they want to crush socialists so bad, because as if you are a socialist or if you are a communist, you shouldn't care about what you only should be care about is how that person treats you. That's it. I don't care about your skin color.
Right.
You what is that? How what that you're white, that you're brown. What does that have to do with me? What you could probably I'll probably fight you or something for some stupid shit. I could curse here. I don't know.
No, you can't. I always put this is not for kids because we have some crazy conversations on here. But no, it's true. And like I like how you talked about like with socialists and communists, we don't really care about like what race you are. And because identity politics is used to uphold white supremacist doctrine as well too. Which is a very important thing of what like I try to talk to people about here and what we all try to talk to people about here, honestly. Just don't just get excited when someone is gay running. Look at what they are for.
Yeah.
They can be gay and be against black people, gay black people, trans black people, all people of color that are queer, just passing laws to suppress them while being gay.
Yeah, I mean, the way I say is, well, all right. I say, all right. What race are you? All right, are you white? In high school or middle school, who do you or whatever? Who do you fought the most? You probably fought your own kind.
Yeah.
So it's or who are you most likely to all right to get shot by? It's your own kind because you're probably your neighbors or whatever, or you probably socialize or you go to different bars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you as a socialist, you have to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Right.
Right. You can't have that. You can't go with that identity politics, because if it was because of that, I can't just go say, all Venezuelans, then I'm cool with Juan Guaido. Hell no, I have no interest.
Yeah.
I have more interest with with somebody, a communist comrade in India that I don't understand his language, but if I understand that he's for a better world and he has that class consciousness,
Mm.
we are on the same page.
Mm. Yeah, man. Class consciousness is such a big deal. Like Chase said, we have there's no borders in the working class, none, and
Yeah,
everything that we
yeah,
need is what they need.
yeah, yeah. The concept. I see it as the concept of a country to some sense. It's relatively. I see it as a bourgeois, concept. Just because I was born in this section of the world,
Hmm.
to me this or makes me stronger or faster or smarter. That it has no scientific, evidence or there's nothing. You could be born. That's why us as Marxists, internationalism is so strong because at the end of the day, we live in one world, and we
Yeah.
have to use the resources of this planet. It's the only planet that we have
Yep.
to to help each other.
Yeah.
If you have a better life, I don't even know you.
Hmm.
I cannot care about you. But if you have a better life and your needs are met, then that benefits me because that means that you won't be in competition. You won't break into my house, or
Hmm.
you won't try to. If you're good, then I'm good too. If you're not good, those people that are not good are, gonna want to, trying to be good and do whatever is necessary.
Yep. Yep. And like when you look at instance like societies like Cuba, which is why I'm so glad that a lot of people are people that I have had conversations with where 5 years ago they would be like, "Oh, Cuba's crazy," and now they're like, "Dude, I didn't know this. Cubans have doctors all over the world. What? They only have to pay like a percentage of their uh to the rent, like a percentage of their income goes to the rent, like 10% or something like that. I didn't know that. Like, how is this possible?" And it's like, dude, imagine if that was here. This is why we fight for it, because we deserve free healthcare. We deserve housing. Housing is a human right. Imagine if you had that. You wouldn't be the crime rate, the crime rate itself here, what crime is, literally will have to be reevaluated. Like the police department, all this stuff, like will have to be reevaluated to like a system that actually works. You know what I mean? But it's just that's why they try to demonize Cuba and make Cuba look like the enemy, and Cuba has to cut itself off so they don't get like corrupt in their own government. But it's slowly coming. I can say that.
We we people like to, you know, we like to hear stories. Since before our time, we didn't have TV, so they had
Hmm.
storytellers going from town to town and entertain us, right?
Hmm.
So story is a big part of culture, and I'll say that almost every culture in the planet. So Cuba, it's a bad example for the whole world. I say that because when you're telling a story, you know, you can say a story in 10 minutes and 20 minutes, or you can
Hmm.
write a book and it's a 7 minute. But you just put, this process took 100 years, this process took 200 years,
Yeah.
but you don't see the magnitude of what those people fought for how long,
Right.
and the resistance is not grasped enough. Cuba has been fighting for 60 years.
Yeah.
That 60 years, right? And that seems like an eternity. And Cuba, it is so difficult to do what they're doing because
Yeah.
it's like if you want to put it at a smaller level, it's like telling your family, um, would you guys want to give in to the neighborhood thug, or would you guys are gonna, have your, they're gonna cut your electricity. They're gonna, mess with, cut your water off. Try to isolate your house. It's like you have 10 houses in one block. You know,
Mm.
and the guy with the biggest houses says, I control here. You have to do what I say.
Mhm.
8 houses says, okay, whatever, sir. And one house, which is Cuba, we say, uh, I'm not with it. I'm not gonna obey what you're saying. Okay, well, every time you go to the supermarket, no one's gonna sell to you. Every time you go to the barber shop or anywhere you want to go in this town, no one's gonna help you out.
Mm.
So that's what Cuba's doing is extremely difficult
Mm.
to go against, an empire like that, the biggest and the most powerful empire in history.
Mm.
With, and I say that because of the military, the technological advances, the the monetary. They control the IMF. They control the banks. They control the SWIFT system, which is exchange money.
Mhm.
To go against the U.S. It's an incredible feat, and um, anybody that goes against the U.S. we see that their people suffer, but it takes a lot of balls to do that. That's why Cuba. That's why um, Nicaragua.
Mm.
That's why Venezuela is going through what it's going through now. And we have to be here in the U.S. We have to always support them, always be a voice for them, always be in the street, and always try to challenge. Because the more we talk about it, the more we educate people. Because um, we have to see ourselves as educators, and we have to put that information out there. That's why this podcast is very important, because
Yeah.
if you reach one person,
Thank
um,
you, comrade.
that person can reach. You never know who you're impacting, and you don't have to see it as I want to get famous or I want a lot of recognition. No, this is our job. Job, your job is to, if you're not doing this for personal gain.
Nope.
It's everybody's job. If you are awake, or if you know what's going on, then you have to wake up, our brothers and sisters. Because
Yes.
sisters
Exactly.
internationally, those are the ones that suffer the most, because they're on
Mhm.
the boot of imperialism.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, this is exactly what I talked about last podcast when I had a black brother on, and I was explaining. I'm like, look, man, like he was just talking about even being a photographer, what photographers have to go through just to be out there and supporting the cause, and then getting like mixed up in like a little arguments with people on the left because they think that you're taking pictures because you're like an informant or something. Or and then if you even catch something with the police doing something, you could get like prosecuted just for having that footage. Like it's a sacrifice. It's just in all levels. This is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Me getting up in the morning and talking and just talking to people about revolutionary politics. It's a sacrifice. Me marching down the street 24/7, and with my face out, and me being an employee of a certain job, and they're like, "Oh, what you doing out there? You could lose everything." And
Yeah,
it saddens me seeing people that try to join this movement and then they get in their heads, and that's what destroys the progress. When you have people getting in their heads thinking that, oh well, I am the image of the movement or something. Like, no, sorry, you don't get that. You don't get that. Angela Davis could do that. Like, but no, sir. Who are you? And why are you trying to prop yourself up on oppression? Why are you using oppression to prop yourself up? Like,
yeah,
why?
that's a very. I see a lot of people that have come. They call themselves Marxists.
Mm-hmm.
They've been the switch from liberals to kind of, they want to switch too fast, and I see them as, they use you can see it. Maybe I have a good bullshit gauge. See what you're doing. You're using people suffering to kind of like prop yourself up to out of. I understand we are all victims of alienation. And
Yeah.
here in this country, the U.S., where you don't know your neighbors, where you don't really talk to a lot of people, and where your friends are probably your only, like, you can count the one or two, and then you think you have a lot of friends because you have 10,000 friends. But let's see if you have a flat tire. Let's see how many of those friends go help you out.
Right.
You
Right.
It's not like other countries where you grew up in a neighborhood, and people know you, and and you have a lot of friends you can count on that
Yeah.
you grow up like family members. But that's another topic.
Oh yeah, and it's understanding that this is like the reason why that people are like this though. Like you can see it's because of how we were raised in this American culture where we're more idealistic with being a powerful individual instead of thinking of what can make a powerful community.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and it's like I have you know a few people. I don't even have to explain it. They'll be like, yeah, I just want to be rich and be successful, have a nice house, and take care of my family. They will freak out if when I tell them like, yo, nobody else in the world thinks like that. They just want to have a good job and be able to take care of their family. They don't want to be rich. They just want to live happy. Do you know what that's like to want to be happy and not have a Rolls Royce or a mansion, but just to be well off, taken care of? Do you know? Do you know that's what a lot of people dream for? And there's nothing wrong for that. But no, some people tell me, "Oh, they're just sheep." Sheep, like it's sheep mentality just to want to live your life that you only have once, like just be comfortable with your family and stuff. Like that's what people fight for. LGBTQ people want that, and that's what they fight for, just to have that. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting. The American mindset is just too individualistic, and I can see why. As Marxists, we're the eyeballs. We're like, oh, how about we build our community? And you're like, what? No, I'm trying to make $1 million. So, oh, you want to exploit your community so you can make $1 million? That's what
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yeah. So my point was that you always have to practice being humble. That's the
Yes.
thing. Always being humble. Always be grateful, and always be always pushing for more. You always have to push for more. But when I say that, I mean it's for a revolution and to build socialism.
Mm, mm. That's deep. So I guess we already answered the question of this podcast: is the white supremacy ideology still around? And yes, it is. It really is. And it's to the point where you got to catch yourself, even as a person of color, like, oh my god, am I enabling this by supporting this, thinking that this is the right way? And that's so scary because you see that in the Biden administration right now, where like some people talk to me, they're like, I didn't know that he was going to keep the camps going. I voted for him so he could stop the camps. I didn't know he was going to continue to just continue everything that was doing. But I'm like, bro, he was doing it before Trump. He was supporting it before Trump. They just had it in different rhetoric, different levels. They weren't just going out and saying, "Oh, fuck all the Mexicans." They was just trying to be like low key, like no Latino immigrant is allowed here. No Muslim person is allowed here. Let's move in our politics and not say it out loud. But if we're going to say something, we're going to like literally like we're going to question what is our wording so people don't be like, oh, automatically, oh, this is Islamophobic or this is like xenophobic. um I think that once people realize that, they can actually make the switch over to not depending on the Democratic Party. What do you think?
I think it's like I said in the beginning, it's the historical amnesia that they try
Mm,
to feed us, and you know we study history, It's what we do. We put
A
two and
lot.
so we see that, you know, Obama didn't do anything for us. Clinton's no, so no Democrats has done anything for us. They just lip service. So they're members of the same party. What is that party? The ruling class party. So what they do is they play good cop and bad cop,
Yeah.
but they're both friends. It's just like wrestling. They're all friends at the end.
Yes.
They play good cop and bad cop. They're paying. It's like if you and I do our own party, we're both Marxist-Leninists. So
Yeah.
what's the
They're both
difference?
capitalists.
Yeah, they're both capitalists. It's like if Fidel Castro and Raúl Castro
Yeah.
both started a party. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans, one talks, but they're the action. What are the actions? They both bombed our brothers and sisters in the Middle East. They both
Mhm.
support Israel. So what's happening in Gaza? They both support the 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 embargoes in Iran and Cuba and in Venezuela. They both enable it. Just one is more outspoken, but they'll do the same thing.
Right. Right. Yep. I
So
agree.
uh, to get a little bit into the in here in the U.S., what they in order to separate us, right? They use a lot of fear. So one day the Latinos are the boogeymen. They're
Mhm.
rapists, they're killers. Another day is the Asians. You know, they say, you know, whatever the regulatory they have, you know, the virus or whatever. So they switch, they pass the ball, and us as minority, they say, well, it's not my turn now. They're not making fun of me, but
Right.
we unite. You know, when they say, you know, oh, black people this, or Muslim this, or Asian this, or you know, Latino this, you know, or LGBTQ people this. If
Mhm.
we unite, you know, and say, hey, don't come with that shit here, you know, then things will be much different.
And that is literally like why it's so important to have working class solidarity with everyone, you know, because we unite and stop trying. Like, okay, a good example from what you're talking about. You have this guy's problematic, but I'll bring him up as an example. Umar Johnson. A lot of black people love him, and I'm the one that goes in the room when I'm hearing about it, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you heard what Umar said?" I'm like, "Bro, nah." he he literally went on the Breakfast Club saying, "Oh, they're gonna sign this bill for trans people, but what about black people? They're gonna sign this bill." I'm like, "Well, there's black trans people, but anyway, they're gonna sign this bill for Asian people, but what about black people?" Like, just totally division rhetoric, but but it's toxic because no one's ignoring it. There's a people are ignoring it, but a lot of people in my community, especially, are listening to it as if like, yeah, what about those Asians? And then they end up becoming the victims of that doctrination that you were talking about. And I mean, when you saw the videos of Asian people being attacked, it wasn't just white people; it was black people that were doing it too. And it just, I'm not saying that he fueled that, but I'm just saying that the fact that he said what he said, it's like encouraging it. And it's it's deadly. It's dangerous. So like
Yeah.
we need to like literally like that's our job as Marxists, literally call it out as what it is. Like, no, no, stop your rhetoric against China. Stop your rhetoric against Asian people. Like, we need to stop this because it's causing more harm. And we need to show solidarity with them, just like how they will show solidarity with us. And if everyone sees those examples and talk about it like that, like you said, we can look at everything and understand that we need to all come together. And if we all come together, they cannot stop us. That's the whole soul business. If all Middle Eastern people, all black people, all Asian people, everybody, brown people, black people, indigenous, aboriginal, First Nation people, if we all just literally come together instead of just allowing this division, because that's how they work. While they're dividing, like you said, the Democrats and Republicans are They're friends while they giving out all this division. They have the same donors. Why is the same number of Goldman Sachs Democrats is the same number of Goldman Sachs Republicans? Why is that? Like it's just bad. And this is like something that I guess we just have to repeat 24/7. 24/7. And I know you get tired of Comrade Perez. I know you do. But you keep saying it. And why is that?
It's our job.
Yeah.
It's our job, and we have to keep explaining it. And you see the fruits when someone actually comes after 6 months, 3 months, and says, "I ain't like what you were saying, but it was because I never was exposed to it, and now I'm reading Lenin."
Yeah, man.
when some people tell me that, it feels good.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't like what you were saying, I ain't like it, but now I'm reading. Now I'm looking into this. What do you think about this? You recommend any book? I'd say start slow. If you don't like reading, just watch that Oliver Stone on Netflix. What's it called?
What is that called? I think I have it saved, but
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Oliver Stone.
Let me just Google it.
Yeah, go ahead. Oliver Stone is
Untold History of the United States.
yes.
It's a good one, and I recommend it to people that listen to your podcast. It's a nice intro.
I'm gonna put that link in.
It's kind of long, but it's very informative. Very informative.
Mm-hmm.
They talk, they talk a lot about the U.S. history, and they talk about Soviet. They talk about the U.S. propaganda. They talk about the CIA. It's a lot of good points.
Right.
And it's from an American.
Have anybody come after you saying you're a Russian bot or anything? Because
Russian bot, that brings back memories from the Bernie. Yeah, that's when everybody was a Russian.
Like, I had somebody email my job.
Email, wow, that's serious.
It was more about the fact that they had a disagreement with our stance on not wanting U.S. involvement within any country when a country is having their own conflict, to let them figure out themselves instead
of course
being pro U.S. involvement. So certain countries like Syria come to mind, and so yeah, they emailed my job, and they were like, in the rhetoric, they were like, this guy and the people with him are spewing out Russian propaganda. And I told the dude at the time that was like over me. I was like, yeah, maybe he's right, because clearly Bridgeport, Connecticut is outside of Moscow. And he laughed so hard. They laughed so hard. I apologize. Their pronouns are they, them. They laughed so hard. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, you look crazy when you emailing somebody telling them that it's Russian propaganda, unless that person believes in it too. Like, I think people that believe in that, they just should wear like tinfoil. Like, how in the movie where they had the aliens, which movie was that? People had like tinfoil on their head. It's like the aliens are coming. Like, that's how I see somebody that like
conspiracy theories, the crazy ones.
Yes, and that's how I see people that believe in like Russian propaganda, stuff like that. Like, they just might as well wear like the tinfoil on their head so we can know who they are. But like, let me talk to you, bro.
Bringing it back to Russia.
Yeah.
There has never been any Russian, troops in the U.S., but the other way around, there has been American troops in Russia.
Yeah.
There was in 1916 or 1917, I remember.
Yes, that was around the time when the Tsar fell, right? And they were forming the USSR.
Yes, when it was forming the USSR, then they were having the Civil War. All the France, Britain,
Right.
You know, the empires, they sent troops to go, you know, to go fight the Bolsheviks. But you know, they want to make it seem as, you know, they always put the Soviet Union as because they were the first socialist
Yes. Yes,
country,
they were. Set an
and
example.
they went from 0 to 100 real quick. So they became the second most powerful country in the world.
So fast. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you look at how powerful and innovative socialism is in like Cuba or China, for instance, they have bullet trains. They are just so good at just evolving. And like you know how quick like Russia was literally like a third world country, and then around World War II they're a superpower.
Yeah,
and,
that's insane.
and they were invaded by all the they were invaded by all the European countries when they first established. So it's like, how did they survive all those invasions?
Yeah, that's it.
It's
It's
incredible.
it's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, that's a good word.
They really should talk about this in schools. Like it will give people a perspective of, oh wait, what? Because Vladimir Lenin till this day is still like revered. Everybody loves him. I mean, isn't his body like preserved in a way, and it's like in a museum? I think like I forgot what they did to his
Yes.
body. Like
Yeah.
it's like he can't decompose or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How did they come up with that?
It's a, and you know, some people try to make it into race. As again, as Marxists, we don't see that. My
Yeah.
comrades, I don't call them white. I don't call nobody white comrade. I don't call them black comrade. I don't
Hmm.
call them Hispanic comrade. I call them comrades.
Yes, me too.
Comrade has it's a very special word uh, for me because
Yes.
comrade it's. Let me explain to you. It's either you're not, you know, you have friends. There was a comrade Judy told me this, and it was very impactful. I always say, you know, shout out to comrade Judy. She said, "We're not friends, right? We're not family. We're comrades." And that hit me because you know your friend is someone you grew up with and someone you can, uh, you know, rely on. Your family is, you know, your brother, your family, your sister. You guys are family, your blood. You know, whatever happens. But your comrade, you're together because of your ideological. You know, you're willing to you willing to die for that comrade.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so that's
Sacrifice.
comrade has a very strong meaning.
Yeah.
So
That's why I don't call anyone a comrade neither. You know what I mean? Like some people will call me a comrade, and I'm like, I don't know you yet, man. And it's not even like I'm trying to build a family bond. I'm trying to see like, are you really down to defend the oppressed people? Are you really down to support and defend oppressed people? Are you not someone that's like, bro, like, oh, I understand that the cop was wrong, but he was fearing for his life. But then you call me a comrade last week,
yeah,
and now you saying
yeah,
shit like,
yeah. Yeah, that's
comrades don't fuck with police, bro.
yeah, yeah,
You see
yeah.
majority of us out there like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Fuck the police. Black Lives
And,
Matter.
and a good point to make is that you don't see in Cuba some people saying "fuck the police" because
They talk about that. And why? Why do they not say fuck the police?
the police are, you know, they're part of the community. They're not there to repress the people.
Right.
They represent the people's interests. And one main thing is that, you know, what are they? They're not there. The police here are here to protect, you know, the white supremacy, and they spin off of that. You
Right.
know, all the history, how they come off. You know, the you know, catching the slaves and stuff like that, and policing. You know,
Mm-hmm. Union
so
busting.
yeah. But in Cuba, they're 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 there to protect the people. They are the people, and they are part of the revolution as well.
Yep.
And they say themselves, they said, you know, whatever happens, we're here to defend. You know, they talk like they're military. You know, we're here to defend the revolution. And you know, it's beautiful when you see like and you know, saying, you know, we're going through hardships, and it's because of the blockade. If socialism, if they fear socialism so much, right? Why
Mhm.
little country? Why block this little country, right? If socialism is so garbage and so, you know, incompatible, why block it? Why don't let it, do whatever it has to do and let it dissolve? You know,
Exactly.
they don't do that.
We don't the government doesn't the government has the blockade because they want to snuff out socialism. They want to snuff out the country. That's why they have the sanctions in Venezuela. And Venezuela is still a capitalist country, but
Yes,
it's
it's a
ran
capital.
by like a socialist party right now. So they want to like snuff it out with taking away their resources, taking away their food, taking away certain meds like penicillin and all that stuff like that. That's the way they want to show. They were like, look, it's not it's not us with the sanctions that's killing these people. It's the government. Even though the sanctions are killing people, and the UN had to admit that. Thank you, UN, for being late. You guys suck with supporting Middle Eastern people. Let's talk about that. But anyway, it's like they needed they needed to do something to snuff out the growth of their economy and then blame it on the government so they can hope that the people turn on the government. And then when they turn on the government, they can just go in and attack. But they can't turn on the government because the people support the government.
Yeah, that's the one of the difference between Cuba and Venezuela.
Yeah.
That does work when you cut off the supplies for the normal people, because because of the indoctrination, the apathy grows, right? So
Hmm.
people that live in certain country, even here, they say, I don't care about government. I just want a job. I just want to go out for ice cream and buy my little things, and I don't care about none of that. So when they see that they don't have toilet paper, or they don't have they don't have certain meats, or they don't have eggs, or they're you know they see the consequences of that. The people go out in the streets and they revolt.
Yes.
They try to bribe out hundreds of times the military, so
Hmm.
they can go about in a coup. But
Hmm.
what's the difference between why hasn't it worked in Cuba and in Venezuela? It's because of class consciousness, and not only the people, the military has class consciousness.
Yes.
If you see how Padrino Lopez, um, he's one of the top ranking members in the military in Venezuela.
Hmm.
Um, he clearly points out U.S. imperialism, and he says himself they try to bribe him a couple of times, and he says no.
Oh fuck, for real?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
they try to, you know, Venezuela is the richest country, the most producing oil, more than Saudi Arabia. They have
Right.
the largest reserve of oil in the world.
Yes, they do. Yep.
Venezuela has,
That's why they
uh,
want them so bad.
Venezuela has so many minerals. They are fiending for Venezuela. The global South is not poor.
Yeah.
Africa is not poor.
Yeah.
Latin America is not poor. It's this whole economic system that, according to them, we are poor. That's why they destabilize our countries, and then that's why we have to immigrate. You know, they and they just turn it. They just turn it crazy, and it's because whoever doesn't bow down, they bomb the crap out of them.
Yeah.
What's happening in Syria? What's happening in Yemen?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all over the world, and
Yeah.
we take it as, oh, that's just dumb. No, it's not just dumb. You have to bring in the internationalism, that's class consciousness, and say, hey, denounce the wrongdoing everywhere, wherever it's happening, because it's all linked. Everything is all linked into the class warfare that we're in. It's us
Yes.
versus them, the ruling class.
Yes, exactly. The 1%, the ruling class, like it is. And like Some people don't like when I say that, but that's just the harsh reality because we're all working class people and we have so much in common. Once we talk to each other, it's like, okay, what do you want, white man from the South? I just want to have good benefits, take care of my
Yeah,
family. It's the same thing.
yeah.
Well,
You
that's what
sit
I
down.
want.
Yeah, yeah. You sit
It's
down.
like,
You sit. That's why our as revolutionaries we have to we can't back down. Somebody says I'm a Republican, I'm a Trump supporter, something like that. No, you lay them down, lay down. What's your belief? Because they're working class. How about that Trump supporter could say, you know what, this is all BS, or that Biden supporter or whatever, this is all BS. Comrade, comrade really opened my eyes. I didn't. I hated the word socialism, but if you don't during the conversation don't mention socialism, you'll see that people are saying, "Wow, what you're saying sounds very good." And yes,
mhm,
I trust my government. And yes, I see all the waste that's
right.
going on. And yes, I see how they use our military to go overseas and take away their, if it's Afghanistan, take away their poppy seeds, you know, for heroin. And then I see how they go into Iraq and take their oil, and and I see how they go all over the world and taking and taking and taking. And where does that go? That goes it goes to Europe, it goes to Canada, and it goes to the US.
Yeah, now we have a pandemic here, not pandemic, epidemic with heroin and all stuff. Like now we have an epidemic with opiates, and we
Yeah,
went
but
to war for
the yeah, the working class always pays the consequences, but the capitalists are so innovative. That's why we have to always be innovators, because the capitalists, what they do is, they bring in the drugs. How do the drugs get in here? How come they know who's El Chapo? Well, where's the Chapo here? Huh?
it.
Who receives all that drugs here? Who's the kingpin here?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
know who's the kingpin here, but they don't say it. We know it's the CIA that helps bring those drugs in here. We know this DEA, the Pablo Escobar's son. I think he just wrote. No, I don't think he announced that in a book. He says that his father used to work with the DEA.
yeah.
No? They
There's movies like that. There's movies out like that that talks about that.
they destroy the community. They keep people, that's what the alienation, but it's kind of a solution. You 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 destroy communities, you lock people up. That's why they destroy the black, they destroy the Black Panthers like that, because the
Yeah,
Black Panthers were the number one communist organization in the US. How were
word.
they had a lot of class consciousness. They were on point. They was going to turn this around in the US, in the belly of the beast.
Mm,
Smart, educated black sisters and brothers was out in the streets preaching about, Marx and Lenin. And, that's you can't have that. And then
mm,
they destroyed them.
mm. Yeah, they did.
That's why you
And
have to have comrades that are humble, that are not greedy for self fame or money. We have to be very careful into who we let into our circles,
yeah,
because they have a lot of data on us, our weaknesses. They also have a lot of data, historical data, on how to break us up, how to attack us, how to incarcerate us. When they're so good at it that even when they incarcerate us, they make money out of it.
yeah.
The prison system make money out of it. This
Ain't
system
that some shit?
is so beautiful that no matter, they're always going to make money off of you.
Yeah, yeah. That's insane. That's insane. You got people like Michael Jordan investing in the private prisons and stuff like that, and it's just like, bro, like really, private prisons, and like you're saying, they making money because if no one's in those rooms, they make more money. So it's like they got to put somebody in those cells so they don't have to pay all that money. Like it's insane. It's like a business to incarcerate people.
Because this whole system is designed based on problems. It's slowing down right now because of COVID, because you don't have people consuming.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit less problems now. You know, this whole system, because socialism, what it does, it solves problems.
Yeah.
You know, okay, let's make this so you don't have to work this much, or let's make this to make this more convenient, or let's make this so it can last longer, so we don't have that much waste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
So this whole system is based on perpetual problem. You know, the more problem, all right, because they say, all right, if we don't have problems, then you can't have money circulating.
Mm. Mm. Instead of just making your money towards solving problems,
Yeah.
which you can also do. If they took half, not even half, dude, like even 10% of that military budget and allocated towards solving problems here, there will be such a change just off of 10%. I didn't even think 5%. Like such a huge change. And it will benefit. It'll benefit their economy. It'll stimulate their economy. Like I mean, we see it in the pandemic. People for years were telling me we don't have money for this, we don't have money for that, but they were able to give us our stimulus checks, and they're like, "Where the hell did that money come?" For years, y'all told me y'all got money for this shit. Joe Rogan, who's everybody knows Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I don't, he's aloof, but I was listening to one of his podcasts where they were talking about homelessness, and he was saying that he always thought that there was no money for homelessness. Then he found out that nonprofits that get support from the government, they get like 400 something $1 million, like annually, like stupid money. And one of the big cases is, I don't know if you heard about it right now, is in New York, where de Blasio's wife had a nonprofit, and she was given like almost $1 billion to address the crisis in New York. And it was like an overtime thing that she had to like do it. Lord behold, people are still homeless, and they're like, dude, what did you do with the money?
Well, it's those again. Capitalism creates its own perpetual problems. If they were to solve, you know, that problem of homelessness, which is easy, right?
So easy.
All those organizations would be left without of jobs. There'll be a lot of lawyers left without of jobs.
Right.
This whole system is based on sometimes they want to pass laws and like, wait a minute, we pass laws. This year we have 40,000. One of my professors gave me this. This is all right. If you were able to make such a accounting law to benefit, would you do it? But you have to, if you would make it easier, you have to know that every year you have 40,000, lawyers or accountants graduating.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the reasons why they don't make things easier, because sometimes they want to keep people employed and make things more confusing. The system is not based on to solve problems.
Right. And the thing is, like, even and the thing is, like, they can flip their positions too if they were to solve problems. Like in Cuba, they have doctors checking to see, like, while they go visit somebody, they're like, "Oh, I noticed that street light is out. Let me add a note and let people know that the street light is out so they can fix it." Like, there's things that you can like have people do. Like the government can hire people just to make sure that everything is up to date in the community. For instance, like there's just so much they can do, but they don't want to do that. They want to do the reverse thing, like what you're saying. It's like, well, who's gonna be able to like help solve poverty if we actually put all this money to solving poverty? We want to keep people employed. They're the biggest thing Democrats always say. We're job creators. We create jobs.
Don't get me wrong. As the foundation of communism is everybody needs to work. And everybody should work.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't be working, 2 jobs or 60 hours or 40, or even 40 hours.
Yeah.
We should have a system that give us time to actually even teach. Another another generation. You know, if you're good at fixing computers, or you're good at whatever, would it be nice for you to have, to pass it on to someone else?
Yes.
And while you, whatever you're passionate about, if your needs are met, you have food, you have housing, and you can, do more with your time, because life is not about work. you
Yeah,
know
man.
the system doesn't let you enjoy life.
Yeah.
It's modern slavery.
Yeah. Ideally, like a 3-day weekend is just so much better than trying to fight for a 2-day weekend. You know, like if you're able to like just work 4 days out of the week, you will be so much of a happier person and still allocate money and still be able to do things that you need to do it to keep your life up, your personal life up. Like that would be so dope if they made that a mandate in America,
Yeah,
because we just work our asses off. Like I'm a union guy now, but before I was in the union, like dude, I had to literally like fight to get days off. Like my coworkers will call out whenever they just done and can't take enough. Like working in the catering business, like especially the catering. There was no like, oh, this is your day off in the schedule. It was like work, 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 work. And you're just like, oh God, I'm trying to enjoy at least 5 hours before I go in, and you just feel so miserable. So it's just
yeah. And even if you're, oh, what I was gonna say, I blanked out. Sorry about that.
no problem.
Oh, you mentioned so we just had, obviously it was May 1st, May Day. So that started, you mentioned the 2 days off weekdays. Some people are fighting for three, but before, if it wasn't thanks to our comrade, which started, Workers' Day started here in the U.S. in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago.
Yep.
Now it has gone is international. And guess who doesn't celebrate May 1st? The U.S. What they did to them, to those, you know, to the comrades were organizing that. They shot him. They shot him
Yeah.
or hanged him. I don't remember quite well, but I know they killed him.
It was a factory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
they were thank the struggle is not like this. The struggle is up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But us as revolutionary has to keep it moving. So our goal is to start socialism, and are headed towards communism.
Right.
So
And it's
with
not a utopian idea. Like people always tell us this, like I don't know if someone told you this, but people would tell me like, "Oh, you have a utopian idea." And I'm like, "How the hell is that utopian? How?" Like
yeah,
that's the
it's not like
hardest thing ever.
it's
Yeah.
not no, it's not like we're gonna live in a society where I'm not you're not there's gonna people you always not this. It's not like you're gonna like everybody. You're gonna dislike people. You're gonna have problems. You know, it's just a society where you don't have to. You know, every morning punch your pillow and be like, oh, I fucking hate this job.
Yeah.
You can. It's something you can take. It's something that you can do. It's something reasonable. If somebody's working whatever they're doing, I think any job, if you're working 20 hours or 25, I think that's you have the rest of your day or the rest of your hours to you know to do as you please. And you'll be like, oh, this is fine. This is something I can handle. But if you're working in something that you wake up, then you just have to come back from work, feed yourself, take a shower, 1 hour, and just cleaning your house, and then going back again. It's like
Miserable.
yeah, you feel miserable no matter even if you're making okay a little bit more money than you're doing on the same day, and what, you retire and then you die. What kind of system is that? What kind of life is that?
And even
And
if you're making good money and you're working that damn hard, you don't even have time to enjoy that money.
exactly,
You can't even enjoy it. So
yeah,
what are
you
you
have
making it for?
a week or 2 weeks off, and that's it. And you buy things to you know again, the division. I have this, I have that. It is the division. But even if you are getting paid a little bit better, you're still a worker. You're still getting exploited. You just have more freedom, a little bit of freedom to do with a little bit of money, more money to what, get a better car, get a better. But that doesn't bring happiness. That does not bring happiness. No. Get a better car, get a more expensive clothes, or whatever makes you happy, or think that makes you temporarily happy. Because that's the problem with people that have a lot of money, that they get a lot of fake friends. they get a lifestyle that they want to impress other people, and they just want more and more and more. And because they feel empty, and they realize that. I see a lot of famous people say money doesn't buy happiness, and I think if you're humble enough, you'll know that. You should know that, and you should appreciate, the good friends, the good companionship, the good comrades, the simple things in life, and try to live it, and try to push so other people can have those moments with their loved ones, and have more time with their families and friends, and not living a life just working and working and working and working. And if I think if you think about the good times in your life, it's mostly, maybe I'll say it's with a group of people laughing and having a good time.
Yeah. Well, Comrade Perez, we're definitely we could talk about a lot of shit.
Yeah, we talk about
but let's end it here. I'll definitely want to have you come back on and add more people, have a discussion and stuff. Like, that would be so freaking dope, man. I think we covered a lot of different things, and I know that a lot of people that are going to hear this is definitely going to have something to come out of this. So definitely thank you so much, bro, for taking the time out on a freaking Monday, as at nighttime, man, and just giving out like that good working class conscious message that you do all the damn time. Like, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for having this time with me, man, and definitely see you again, brother.
It was nice chatting with a comrade, and thank you for what you're doing. Keep doing it, and please, bottom of my heart, encourage others to do the same. Because us as Marxist-Leninists, we have to create other leaders and create, and I get this message from Bangladesh, from Venezuela, from Cuba. They say, thank you so much for being a voice. So I encourage everybody to be a voice. What's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Colombia, please repost, please talk about it, please post about it, please educate yourself about it and spread it. Doesn't matter if you have 5 followers, doesn't matter if you have 1,000, you have to keep pushing. That's our job.
Even with 5, you could still reach a lot of people, because they'll share it to somebody else. Still do it. Thank you so much, Comrade Perez, and you have a really good night.
Likewise, Comrade. Take care.
Collectively transforming community, peace in our human family, volume and unity, divine light shining individually, collectively transforming community, peace in our human family.
As above, so below. Feel the pain in my soul. The red pill dissolved. Organized, no matter the cost. Politicians start wars, they don't fight, they sit the poor. And nothing lasts forever as long as we stay together. Give hell to the masses, watch the unity rapture. This is for the kids and the culture. It's one love, one growth, one light, light warriors.